Welcome back to Reclaim Your Year Live. I am your host, Elle Edwards, founder of the Faith and Business Playground, here with training, coaching, and this podcast to help you make Jesus CEO of your life and business by embracing your inner weirdo, by being you. Now, as you will know, if you've been listening along, all this week we are working together to help you create goals and a plan for the second half of 2019 so you can actually get that stuff done. This is probably your final reminder. If you're listening along and you haven't had the benefit of the fully immersive experience, I would encourage you to go to faithandbusinessplayground.com/reclaim. Sign up. It's not too late because you can still come and join the group. You can still share the direction you're heading in and getting a bit of support and the coaching to tweak those as necessary. faithandbusinessplayground.com/reclaim. So today we are talking about what I'm calling open loops. So by now you've done the perfect ordinary day exercise. You know you have a big picture dream of what you'd like your day-to-day life to look like. You also have 3 to 5 smartest goals for the next 90 days. You've also butt-wide your way and found out what's really behind each of those goals. Why are they important? Why are they really important? To supercharge your motivation on those days when you don't want to, because we all have days like that. And I should add, I don't know if I've mentioned this already, this is the process I go through every quarter. Like I said on Monday, I don't do the perfect ordinary day exercise every quarter. I've done that 2 or 3 times, but the setting the goals and doing the but why and the piece we're going to talk about today, literally every single quarter. I have the exact same PDF that I share with you. If you signed up for the immersive experience, link I've already given you if you haven't. That exact PDF, I created that initially for me to use because I needed that in place. And so I have it on my Remarkable tablet, which if you've never come across those, go to remarkable.com. It's like writing in a notebook, but it's a digital experience. I love it. It's brilliant. But I do it every single quarter. And so this process that we're going through, this isn't the only time you're going to do that. You're doing this now, and you're going to do it again in 3 months' time, and again in 3 months' time. And the beauty of that is it actually, for me at least, it eases the pressure. Because one of my frustrations with setting goals for the year was that I would, if I didn't have a system in place for going back and reviewing them periodically, number one, it was really easy to forget about that stuff and get back to the end of the year and go, oops, I forgot about that one. But it also, when you've got a goal that's a year-long goal, it can sometimes be so huge, it can feel overwhelming. But instead, by breaking it down into these 90 days, you're getting big chunks of stuff done. You can write a book in 90 days, for example. You can get a big website project done in 90 days. There's a lot you can do in 90 days. But by breaking it down like that, even if you find you have to tweak it slightly or you didn't quite finish that bit, you've got that flexibility in place. And that flexibility piece is really important to me because as you've heard me say already, this is about creating goals that you personally want to get done and doing it in a way that honors the person that you are. So that's why it's important to me to have that flexibility in there. But today we're talking about open loops. Now, what do I mean by that? I don't know. I've spoken to a few people and they think of other things when they use the phrase open loop. So I'm just going to quickly clarify what I mean by that. If you've ever sat and watched, I'm just trying to think of an example, shows on the television and you get to the end of it and you're like, oh, I need to watch the next one. I was like that with Game of Thrones. I was a little bit late getting to Game of Thrones and it was on DVD by the time my husband and I watched the first season of it years ago now. And you get to the end of one episode and it was like a little mini cliffhanger. That little mini cliffhanger creates what I'm calling an open loop in your brain. Your brain wants to fill in the gaps. It wants to get the answer. It's like when you have a piece of music, and if the music was to stop one note before the end, you'd be like, feel like you were left hanging. That's the open loop. But we want to, and ordinarily open loops are really frustrating. But if you create open loops within the way that you approach your work on a week by week basis, those open loops can be used to your advantage because they power you forward. And so what I want you to do today is for each of your smartest goals, I want you to think about what's the next step. What is the one very next step? And then possibly the step after that. But that's as far as you want to go. You want to leave it feeling ambiguous and uncertain because that ambiguity, that's a hard word to say, that ambiguity leaves your brain wanting more, and it will help propel you forward. It also stops you from getting analysis paralysis. Lots of big words today. Whew, goodness me, didn't even write those ones down. But it does. It stops you from getting to your desk and going, okay, what am I going to do today? And spending ages thinking, right, twiddling thumbs and just not sure. We're going to be digging into tomorrow specifics of how you can actually plan this on a day-by-day basis. And I'm going to introduce you to my Win the Week planner. But as a preface to that, it's this idea of open loop. So for each of your goals, I want you to think about, right, what is the next piece? What's the next thing that I need to do? So if I'm going to do work on this goal today, what will be the first thing I need to do? So let's give you a really easy example. So imagine that one of your goals is to go on a trip to, I don't know, Italy. If I wrote down, I'm going to take my family on a trip to Italy by July the 3rd, 2019, the very next step would be probably to tell my husband to book the time off work. Yeah, because we can't go on a trip to Italy if he's got to go to work. So actually the very first step is an easy one. Decide on some dates. So back up slightly. The first step, decide on some dates, book the time off work. But then after that, you then go to the travel agents possibly and get some brochures. So that would be your next 2 or 3 steps. That's much more structured than going, okay, we're going to go to Italy. And it feels really like big and open-ended. No, by breaking it down that little bit and the little step and the step after that and the step after that, it makes it much easier for you to little by little get these things done. That's really how anybody achieves anything amazing. You know, people who get lauded for, oh, wow, they've done this really big thing. Whenever people hear that I've written and published 5 novels, for example, they're like, wow, that's amazing. And I'm like, okay, yeah, I guess it is. But it doesn't feel amazing because I know the step-by-step work that went into each of those books and the time that it took. And so because people just see the end result, they don't see the behind the scenes stuff, it's easy to forget that all of these goals are achieved step by step. One thing, putting one foot in front of the other, putting your bum in the chair and actually writing, for example, with the books. Yeah. So by going through and deciding what the next step is and possibly the step after that, you've already taken massive leaps forward compared to somebody who just goes, oh yeah, I want to do this thing. Just wanting to do this thing isn't going to get it done. You need to find out what your motivation is, because it'll get you through the messy middle. And then you need to decide, right, what's the next step? So that's your little bit of homework for today, really, is for each of your 3 to 5 smartest goals, what's the next step? And then possibly the step after that. Think about it and then write it down. There is space for that at the front of the quarterly quick start piece in the Win the Week planner, which if you haven't got a copy yet, go back. I've linked to it in the emails that I've sent to you with this Reclaim Your Year Live. Tomorrow, we're going to be wrapping this all up, bringing it all together, because I did promise you that as well as creating goals you wanted to get done, I was going to help you plan out, get a system in place so you can actually get it done. And that's what we're going to be talking about tomorrow is wrapping it all up. Okay, I've got these goals I'm excited about. I know why I want to do them. I know the next step. Now what? That's what we're going to be answering tomorrow. In the final episode in this week. Okay, excellent. As ever, if you'd like to chat about your goals, if you want to get some support around this stuff, do please come on over to the Facebook group. I'd be delighted to chat this through with you. And in the meantime, I look forward to catching up with you tomorrow. Take care. Bye-bye.